Good evening. We're back out here again tonight because I wanted to make part 2 of the video, Fasting for the Dark, Fire and Ice, Meth and the Demonic, Spiritual Warfare, all the above. Tonight I was going to talk about some more of my experiences that I left out of the first video. And I also wanted to start by talking about the theories that I have on myth and spiritual warfare and the demonic, and why it happens the way it does, what causes these spiritual encounters with the darkness. My first theory, going back years ago, I used to think that the hallucinations, if you can call them that, used to happen because of sleep deprivation, right? That was my main thing. Oh, you stay up 3 or 4 nights and you start seeing shadow demons and hearing voices that aren't there out to get you, and thinking that you're being watched from space, all these things. However, in my latter use, I have come to the realization that, and this I tested myself, it is not the sleep deprivation. It is the fasting. You are fasting for the dark. And because of the fasting, you are having spiritual encounters with evil, just as you would have a spiritual encounter with the light if you were fasting for Jesus. Now, I would go and I would stay up 3, 4, 5 nights and would not have any problems at all, because I would force myself to eat regularly throughout the day, throughout the night, as I was doing the drug, and I would not have these spiritual encounters. So I started taking notice that it was only when I went without eating and staying up that I would have the spiritual encounters. And also, I wanted to talk about the fact that crystal meth, it is a crystal, right? So we're dealing with a frequency manipulator, okay? And my theory is that the crystal itself lowers our vibration, right? And by doing so, we become capable of interacting with these lower vibrational entities, right? Demons. And also, the crystal meth usually is prayed over by witches. Santeria, these drug dealers pray to all the demons in Santeria. And there's a lot of wicked, evil stuff that goes on with meth in its processing and its trafficking before it ever gets to being used. Now, saying all that, I wanted to go ahead and also talk about some more of the experiences that I've had, because I've been watching podcasts and I've been watching people talk about these things, and we all have very, very similar experiences when using meth, right? So my thing is it's not some mass hallucination, right? If it was hallucinations, it would be unique to each individual person. And it's not. A lot of these things that are happening to us, the sleep paralysis, the shadow demons, the being tracked and followed, a lot of these things are happening to all of us, okay? And there's another thing too. If it is not real and it's an hallucination, then how in the world are we capturing some of these things on camera, right? I have quite a few things that I have caught on camera, right, that somebody would have told me was an hallucination, but it was not a hallucination because I have proof of it on my camera. Some of those things being huge, fiery orbs in the sky that are like at the level of a drone, staying in one place wherever I was at the time. And it's like once I acknowledged it, it's like it started, coming alive, and I could watch these things, and they would look like they would, flame up on fire and then go down and maybe turn a bluish hue. And they would just sit there as long as I watched them and interact with me and my thoughts, right? And then I could jump in my truck and start going down the road, and they would literally start following me, right? This one night, I was at my old boss's house helping his wife. He was in bad shape. He had dementia. He was dying, and she was needing some work done, and I'm a handyman by trade, so I was doing some work for her, and this happened to me that night. I was out there, and I had been working all day, you know, and I had been doing meth, and I saw the big fiery ball right out in the driveway, and I stood there and interacted with this thing for like 30 minutes, right? And then I got to going through town where there was bright lights and street lights and other cars, and as I went through town, it literally just stayed right with me in the truck. I have it on my phone, video, and it watching this thing follow me, okay? It was not an hallucination because I still have the video on my phone of this thing. And also, here in my backyard, there's a little corner back here where a little creek goes back into the woods, and I always thought it was a portal because I would sit there and watch, and eyes, right? People talk about eyes, glowing green, red, yellow eyes. I would sit back there and I would watch, and there would be like 4 or 5 sets of eyes that would pop in and out, and they would come out and move around and then go back. And I also have some of that on my camera as well, you know, and I would go out and walk back there and try to explain it away logically, but I never could, you know. I could never explain it away with something, you know, like light coming from somewhere, flickering through the trees or something. There was never an explanation for it. So I had things like that happen many times. Back in my earlier days, like I was talking about in the other video, when I was making meth and I was trying to detox off of heroin, I was literally hearing people follow me so badly that I remember I had a shotgun and I was at my parents' house, and I literally sat there all night with my leg propped up on the window and my shotgun just like this at the window, because there was 2 men who sat out in the bushes all night long plotting on how they were going to kill me, and I could hear every word crystal clear. And you know, my mom was ready to have me committed. They all but did call the sheriff's, all but did not call the sheriff's office on me. You know, I convinced them not to. But when these things are going on, they are very real to the individual who is experiencing them, right? And usually if there's other people around who are also on meth and their vibration has been lowered, right, and they have been fasting for the dark, they will also encounter the same stuff with that person. And that happened a lot with me and my buddy all the time. We saw the same shadow people, you know, had the same experiences. Crazy. And there's like all these synchronicities that'll happen to you, right? When you have this illegal entry into the, you know, the spiritual realm, and just crazy stuff will happen that you cannot explain, right? And that's what it is. I truly believe that you are gaining entry into the realm of darkness, right? Satan's kingdom, and having these experiences because your vibration has been lowered and because you are literally fasting for the dark, like the sin that you are involved in, right? Meth was made for destruction, right? That's what it's produced for, is to destroy. And like I said, it has been blessed, it has been cursed, it has been prayed over by all these evil forces and entities and people who are practicing, you know, things for the kingdom of darkness. So when you partake in that, you are partaking in evil. So you are fasting for the darkness, bottom line, and you are having spiritual encounters because you are fasting for darkness. And like I say, you know, I've done drugs for a long time. I was, you know, bad on cocaine for a long time. I was bad on benzodiazepines for a long time. I was bad on alcohol for a long time. I was bad on heroin for a long time. You know, and there was a time where if I had all of those things in my system at once, then all was right with the world, right? I couldn't get enough, and I needed all of those things, right? I fell in love with the needle, And it was just like I love the rush of cocaine, I love the rush of meth, I love the rush of heroin, and the benzodiazepines, I love the leveling out that they gave me, right? And same with the alcohol, and the more I could get of each, the better. And that's, in both times that I actually overdosed, it involved all 4 to 5 of those substances being mixed in there, you know. And I've got a couple of really good overdose stories, and I definitely want to get into those on one of these videos here, and I most certainly will, because, you know, it's not just they're not just normal, you know, oh, I did a bad shot of fentanyl overdose kind of stories. Actually, both of them were really, really crazy. And then I have, you know, the story, which I know a lot of you guys, especially if you're ever on Subutex, there's something with the Subutex in it that caused you to develop gallstones. And I had a really bad experience where I almost died with gallstones. I was making PVC pipe 12-hour shifts at night, and I had gallstones and didn't even know it, and you know, they ruptured pretty much, and my, you know, sepsis, I had sepsis, and it was getting into my bloodstream, and I almost died, all but died. Went to septic shock, flopping around like a fish on the ground, you know. When I got to the emergency room, they said if I had gotten there an hour later, I would have died. You know, crazy stuff. That's not an overdose story. That's just a gallbladder story, but I know a lot of you can relate to that story. So, what? Sorry. Mosquitoes are terrible out here at night. So anyway, but the meth stories are crazy, and I would really, really, really love to hear some of the stories from you guys. Anybody that watches this video, please comment down below. You know, tell me your stories. If you don't want to share them publicly like I am, you know, hit me up and message me and tell me your story. I'd love to hear it. I have a link that I'll leave in the description so you can get to my website, and you can see my link in bio and find me on other social medias. Get in touch with me. Reach out. You know, if you need help with anything that my wife and I can help you with, if it's something we can't help you with, we want to help you. That's the whole reason we started this channel. It's the whole reason we're doing this thing, is to help others find their way out of the darkness into the light. Whether you're an addict, or you're in recovery and still struggling, or you just need encouragement, or you're a family member or of an addict, or a loved one, or a friend, and you don't really know where to turn, what to do, what comes next, or if you just, you know, simple questions you have about things like, what should I do in this situation? Should I give them money? Should I not give them money? You know, any of that stuff. There's no question too small, no thing too small, no thing too big. You know, somebody needs help getting into treatment, whatever the case may be. If we can help, we will. So please reach out, please comment, you know, please like and subscribe to like this video, of course, and subscribe to our channel so we can grow and we can reach more and more people, and keep getting these stories out here, and hopefully encourage others to, you know, start talking openly about their experiences with drugs and the, you know, spiritual warfare. That's the main goal here also, is spiritual warfare. We really are living in times where spiritual warfare is something that everyone needs to be aware of, and we all need to be equipped, right? It's time. The war is on. The battle is now. We need to relearn spiritual warfare and realize, right? Awaken to the fact that these things are real. Our spiritual reality is more real than our physical reality, all right? The physical is a direct result of what's going on in the spiritual, right? We are humans, right? We're spiritual beings having a human experience, I think I heard somebody say one time, and that's right on the money. Like, the spiritual realm is real. We have been indoctrinated. We have been, you know, taught from the time we were, you know, knee-high to a grasshopper that these things aren't real. And, you know, even in the church, you know, they've been taken out. Spiritual warfare is not something that's really taught or talked about. And it's all throughout the Bible how important it is. You know, we need to be prayed up, right? We need to be fasting for the light. Because I guarantee you, I know for a fact, that Satan's cronies, they're fasting, they're praying, they're doing their due diligence, right? They realize what time it is. They know what time it is. And you can see it all over the world. I'm not going to get into all that right now, but it is time. The time is now. It's time to stand up and fight and let your voice be heard and stand together. I had a comment last night on the video, united we stand. I love that. Together we stand, divided we fall, all right? I'm trying to unite us Christian soldiers out there who have suffered and walked in darkness that not a lot of other people have walked in. Darkness that has given us the ability to see the light in ways that others can't see it, so that we can let them know what's up. Because like I say in every video, Jesus Christ is the man. He is the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father except through him. I'm sorry. It is just the way it is. If you don't believe that, please do more investigating, because I was one of these people one time, right? I didn't buy into it, you know. I was one of these people in the comments saying, no way. You know, I had somebody on my Facebook say Christ isn't the Messiah because of one misunderstood Bible verse that he was taking out of context, you know. And other people say, you know, oh, there's all kinds of ways. There's all kinds of ways to get to God, you know. It's not only Jesus. This way's right, that way's right. No. It's doctrines of demons. If you study that whole Bible, it will lay out everything for you. And you pray to God and tell him to give you eyes to see. Remove the scales, right? Remove the scales so that you can see these deceptions, right? Think about it, though. It wouldn't be a deception. It wouldn't be a good lie if it didn't have enough in the truth in it to make you fall for it, okay? All these other things that tell you God isn't real, that try to lead you away from Christ, that we've been indoctrinated with our whole lives, are lies, okay? Evolution is the biggest bunch of baloney I've ever heard of in my life. Charles Darwin was a miserable man, okay? Miserable. He abused his wife and children and wanted to die alone, a miserable old man. And there's a reason for that, right? The things that you're buying into, the things that, you know, are being taught that you think are legit, look at the sources that they're coming from, all right? When I want to know something or learn something, I want to know it because of how it's going to affect my life, how it's going to make it better for myself and those around me, right? And if the source that it's coming from isn't legit, like if I can look at that source and say, whoa, whatever this guy's teaching, I don't want no part of it, right? That's a good way to determine the validity of something, right? And the thing is, the truth is exclusive, right? There's only one truth. That's the thing about truth. It eliminates all other options, okay? There can only be one truth. Think about it. There can only be one truth. Jesus Christ said he is the only mediator between God and man. The only one, right? There can only be one truth. So that statement, in my mind, says a lot, right? It says a lot about the realness and the honesty in it. Because there can only be one truth. So there can't be many ways to the Father, right? There can't be many religions that lead you to God. Because that would mean that there would be more than one truth. And truth doesn't work that way. You can't have more than one truth. There's only one truth. It's exclusive, right? It's exclusive to one thing. But the great thing about Christ and the exclusive truth is that he calls us all to be his children, every single one of us. And if we'll answer that call, we will live and reign forever in heaven with him one day, all right? Eternity, think about it. This life is a blink of an eye. Withers like the morning flower, right? It's gone in a flash. But your soul is going to live on for eternity, right? And there are testimonies upon testimonies of heaven and hell, right? And those are the only two places you ever hear about people having experiences with, either heaven or hell. So the truth of the matter is, there's two places you can end up when you die, and it's either heaven or hell. Which one's it going to be? Are you going to be in abundant joy and happiness and euphoria for eternity? Or do you want to burn in hell? Unfortunately, that's the only other scenario where demons torment you day and night, just like they do here on earth if you're living in sin and playing with darkness, right? But it's way worse there, because you will literally reincarnate every time they've put you through enough pain with new flesh, new bones, new blood, so they can rip you apart again. That's hell, okay? I don't want that for anybody. Anybody. And the thing is I prayed, right? Because I used to be one of these people who didn't believe. I didn't buy into it. So I prayed for proof. I asked God, if you're real, please give me the proof. And he did. He gave me that proof. He gave me all the proof I needed, undeniable proof. And because I know these things are true, without a doubt, 100%, it puts something inside of me that makes me realize we're all human. You know, we're all imperfect beings that make mistakes, that are hurt people, who hurt other people. Oh, having some equipment malfunctions here. Must be getting into some truth. We are all people with a God-sized hole who need a Savior. His name is Jesus Christ. And if you'll call on him, just like I did, he will reveal himself to you, right? And you can start living for him so that you can live with him in glory for eternity. And that's just the facts of the matter. Like I say, the hard, cold facts of the matter. It is what it is. You know, I used to not believe. I prayed for proof. I got proof. It was that simple for me. It could be that simple for you. If you're really looking and really seeking, the Bible says seek and the door will be answered. Or seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be answered. Okay, he's sitting there waiting. All you got to do is open the door for him. Let him in and get all the proof you need. Once he takes hold and reveals himself to you, you will never be the same. And your eyes will be opened, the scales will be removed, and you too will know the same truth that all of us Holy Spirit-filled believers know, okay? And you will also then want to help others who are still lost and in the dark, right? And pride is such a terrible thing, man. Pride is your enemy. It will. Pride was Satan's thing, right? He was a beautiful angel, worship leader, got kicked out of heaven for what? His ego, for pride, because he wanted to be like God, right? And that's our biggest downfall, is our pride, because a lot of us, we can't see Jesus because of our pride, and that's the only thing holding us back, because we won't humble ourselves, right? God gives grace to the humble, but opposes the proud. Submit yourself to God, okay? And the devil will flee from you. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. Submit yourself to God. Okay, pride is your enemy. Humble yourself. Humble yourself. And you will find Jesus. This world is nothing but a test. It's one big test, right? Designed and developed by Satan himself, the God, liturgy of this world, to do everything in his power to make you believe that Christ isn't who he says he is, so that you will go with him when this is all over, right? Think about it. That's all it is. You know why? Because that's how he hurts God the most, is by taking every single one that Jesus loves and wants, but gives free will. Think about it. You don't want somebody loving you. If somebody said, here, this person right here will love you, all you got to do is activate them like a robot. Would that love really mean anything to you? Or do you want somebody to love you because of who you are, because they love you for you, right? That's a different kind of love. That's the kind of love we're all searching for. And that's what God wants from us. He wants us to choose him and love him. And if you make that choice, he will shower you with blessings and love and joy and abundant prosperity in your spirit. And this life will be fulfilling and meaningful, and you will figure out what it's meant for. And I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. You will have figured it out. Okay? But don't go with Satan. Don't go with Satan. Okay? Don't believe the lies. See the deceptions for what they are. if it's not of Jesus Christ and it's of this world, be conformed not to the patterns of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, because they are made to destroy you. But be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Become a new creation. Die to yourself, pick up your cross, follow God, follow Jesus. And if you don't know Him, if you don't know Christ, do me a favor and say this simple prayer with all your heart and meaning it, like really wanting to see Jesus, right? Just say, God, all right, I'm humbling myself before you. Get down on your face too. Take your hat off, get down on your face and say, God, I humble myself before you. I want to know you. I want to see you, but I'm having trouble believing, Lord. Give me the proof that I need to believe so that I can live my life for you and live with you in heaven for eternity one day, right? Because this house has many rooms, one for each of us. All we got to do is accept it. That's it. So say that prayer. Get down on your face. Say that prayer. And you might not get an answer immediately. You know, God might want to see if you really want it. So keep doing it. Keep doing it every day until you get your answer. Don't give up. Get down on your face every day. Humble yourself before God and tell Him, I want an answer, Lord. I want proof. All right, give it to me. And if you give it to me, I will follow you. I will lay down my life. I surrender it to you, and I will follow you. See what happens. Okay? See what happens. I dare you. Anyway, that's about it for tonight. Thank you. And like I said, I'm going to try to make some videos about the overdose stories. And also, I've got my buddy DJ, who's an awesome guy. He's in recovery. He's just finished seminary. Helps lots of people every day. Great guy. He's going to do a testimony for me tomorrow, so I'm going to try to get that uploaded as soon as possible, and I'll put it in the testimonials playlist. And I'm trying to get more testimonies for you guys on this channel. So as I get them, I'll add them, and they'll be there. And thank you so much for your support. I love you guys. Thank you so much for the comments on the last video. I responded to every one of them, and I appreciate you all so much. And remember what I said, reach out if you need help. Thank you. Love you. Good night.